Hi there. I'm Wendy Stone, your host and reader for Storytime. Tonight we'll be continuing Dog Upon Atlas into Chapter 12. It's good to see you. We moved in silence until reaching the Brooklyn Bridge. I could tell it by the way it swayed under us, with the scent of water below seeping in through the vents. "So," a male asked, "what do we do with him?" "I'm thinking," my Roxy said. "We should take him to see her." "Shut up, he could still be awake." "Then let's stow him somewhere. Maybe keep him on ice until we get our job done." My eyes caught glimpses of the van's interior as my gang talked. It had the same layout with cages lining either side. "He's part of the job, idiot," my Roxy said. "Yeah, which I still don't get," the male answered. "Let's dump him in the East River. See if he can survive a 280-foot fall. You did." "How dumb are you?" she said. "That was barely 30 feet. "I'm with Puff," from another male voice. "Let's kill him. Bury his body off the shore in 6P. 2 snaps, 2 yips, and silence. "Rules," Roxy said. "We have rules. And what is rule number 3? "Don't kill the PI, the 2 dogs chimed. "All right," she said. "Let me think." "We still got pickups to do tonight, Roxy." "I know. And I'm hungry. You're always hungry." We rode in silence again until Roxy spoke. "We're going to dump him outside the pickup spot. Then you 2 are going to dump me. I feel like shit. I don't know what was in that thing he stuck to me, but I need a drink and a nap." They laughed. She growled. They grew silent. "Here," she said. The van slowed, and I tried my hardest to go limp as she crept through the van and sniffed along my body. "You're in way over your head, PI, she whispered, her breath tickling the fur of my inner ear and her scent washing over my muzzle. The van came to a full stop. My body was pushed by her back feet out the open back doors. I waited until hearing the van peel away before opening my eyes. My nose had told me where we were, but seeing it turned my stomach. The massive and graffiti-worn northern entrance to 6 Points lay yards from my position. That had not gone as planned, but I learned a few things. They wanted me alive, and there were more of them. They also had rules, which meant they were organized and working toward a goal, which apparently involved 6 Points. But where they went, I went. It was better this way. I still had a chance of finding their little clubhouse, though everything seemed too easy, and why was I mentioned specifically? I crossed the street and hopped onto the sidewalk, looking up and up and up. The 20-plus foot-high wall, thick and ominous, stretched into the distance in both directions, disappearing around the 25-square-mile area. My feet kept moving as I crossed the threshold into hell. I stared at the tops of my paws. It helped, until I was on my back. Couldn't remember getting there. I flipped and turned like a beetle. I was inside 6P, and though the gap in the wall seemed a million miles away, I'd barely gone 30 feet. I walked in a straight line back toward the gap, my tail tucked so tight into my legs I had to bow it. It was only a wall, nothing but a wall. But once back on the sidewalk, I could breathe again, feel again, smell again. That was disappointing, I said aloud. It was the imprint, the damn imprint, the days of my simmer addiction, the smell of the 6P fires, the feel of burning chemicals on my gums. Stepping through that gap, it was like it happened yesterday. I found a food cart across the street and buried my shame in 2 venison burgers, while sitting there staring at the walls, the tops separating the night sky from what I wanted, to dive deeper, to be inside her head, to be inside her comfort zone. But I was outside the wall, alone. My last year on the force, I discovered the joys of simmer, made a right mess of my life and my family. Too many days and nights I'd spent wandering the streets of 6P, fighting, feeling the simmer, sleeping with the cockroaches, more fighting, more simmer. I was lucky to be alive. The wall had been erected in the late 19th century to contain a viral outbreak. They'd called it the CDV healing block. Really, it was a way to keep all those sick dogs from infecting others. After the outbreak had passed, the wall remained, and the area never became anything but a refuge for the unwanted, the homeless, the addicts, the societal outcasts. I paced up and down the sidewalk, wondering why they hadn't taken me with them, wondering why they'd left me alone. Did my naughty dog Roxy know I'd been an addict and would so beautifully fail re-entering 6P on my own terms? And if I was rule number 3, what were 1 and 2? A fresh dose of adrenaline raced through me as I realized I couldn't go home. With the cops possibly watching my office, I'd have to sleep at my ex's. Even that was dangerous. Like it'd be hard for the cops to figure out I had an ex-wife. Maybe a hotel, but I had few credits. I needed an easy win. These unsolved cases were digging into my belly. My black mongrel van showed up down the street, trolling the 6P wall. "You've got pickups to do tonight," I repeated what I'd heard from one of the mongrels. "That's what you're doing, picking them right off the street." A noxious wailing ripped the air. The dog that owned it came bounding out of 6P directly toward yours truly. My oldest sense telling me to run and hide, I fought every instinct to turn tail. I tensed for a fight. I'd pummel the crap out of him with my back feet like a kangaroo as he launched. My eyes drew back to the van as it had picked up speed and came screaming down King's Highway right toward us. I'd lost track of my attacker, and by the time the stupid mesmerized look on my face faded, the dog was on me. The beads of white trickle and tickle. I've had my fair share of berries. His mania and hot breath blew my ears back until they tucked. Foxtail foxes of furry boxes are turning my fur fantastic. I giggled. "Ya having a little rough and tumble with alliteration, pal? I don't remember the simmer making me poetic." "Why are they trying to keep me alive? I don't want to live forever. Why can't they just leave me alone? I've lived long enough. I know what I asked for, but I don't want it anymore." "Whoa, don't want what anymore?" I went to my hinds as he went to his. He grabbed me by the shoulders, his claws digging into my sore flesh. "A far, far cry from the shore. There are things that lurk in the dark. Hunting, hunting, the hunter!" The dog was a clan member, a round ear. The speckled black and white short coat, the long limp tail, the huge melon, the great big rounded ears. An old round ear, his eyes nearly milk white with age. How'd a clanny end up down here, I thought. By the time I figured all this out, the van had stopped and dogs poured from it, all of them surrounding him, and not mongrels. "Hector," one of the dogs said, "you gave quite the chase. Do you know how dangerous that was?" These were definitely not my mongrels. "Hey, who are you guys?" I yelled as they wrestled his grip free. "We're his nurses. We need to get him back home." "Hector," he screamed, "back home!" "Hey," I said, "I don't think he wants to go home. Who are you guys really?" "Come along, Hector." The guy ignored me. "We don't want to keep your doctors waiting." They didn't so much walk as wrestle and carry him toward the open doors of the van. I followed until one of the dogs in the white paunches stood directly in front of me. "Hey," I barked, "you got something to say, pal?" "We've got this, sir. Thank you for your cooperation." "Bite me." The old guy was definitely a 7. Nobody had that much cash to have a cadre of medical pups watching after them. I heard a yelp, leaned my head to the right and saw the flash of a needle. They were injecting him with something, but he was a clanny. He could take care of himself. I thought of my best friend Benson, also a clanny. "All right," I said, baring my teeth. "Where are you taking that round ear, pal?" "None of your concerns, sir." "Hey, wait a minute. As quickly as they came, they went. Tires squealing, doors still open, and back down King's Highway they disappeared. My heart idled. My chest slowed. I looked left and right down the dark streets. Did that just freaking happen? Well, I hope you enjoyed that chapter, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, find a nice fire and stay warm.